Our final inductees into the Cardinal Newman Athletic Hall of Fame, our inaugural class, is a team. It's the 1968 Cardinal Newman boys basketball team. Gentlemen, I'd like to read you an excerpt from the paper. Hopefully it'll take you back a little ways from memories of that year. Fast forward to your state tournament. In the tournament, the Cards kept their cool and posted victories over Swansea and Gilbert in the quarter and semifinals. Newman, as the paper liked to call us back then, was in the finals of their second tournament. Shades of October and football permeated the student body and lifted the spirits of the team. During the regular season, no one had been able to beat Newman twice. With this in mind, the Cardinals played their best game of the year. The taste of victory was sweet, and soon cries of "We're number one" faded, and a new roar was heard, all the way to state. CN had gone to the state finals twice before, but was never able to advance beyond the quarterfinals. Would 68 be the year for the Cardinals? The vastness of the field house didn't overshadow the bigness of the Cardinal team. Bigness. It was over so fast. Maneuvering, fast breaking, and rebounding, the Cards outclassed all opponents to capture the 1968 Class B state championship crown. They had done it. They had made Cardinal Newman the first Catholic school to win a South Carolina state championship. Yes, they have done it, but not alone. Always in the background stood Grady Wallace, coach, never receiving, always giving, instilling spirit. It is my pleasure to induct into the Cardinal Newman Athletic Hall of Fame, and I will read their names, the 1968 Cardinal Newman State Championship basketball team. Mr. Pat Takak, Bobby Collins, Ken Dial, Kenny Sexton, Eddie Roach, Dan Callahan, Joe Roach, George Collins, Fred Melson, Marty Woolbright, and Gorman Thomas. And lest we forget their head coach, Grady Wallace. Gentlemen, would you please come forward? If anyone's accepting on their behalf, please come forward.
I thought y'all were through with me. In 1968, of course, we had no gymnasium. Our basketball tryouts were actually, if y'all ever been to St. Joseph's, know those two goals sitting outside? We'd practice there sometimes and had tryouts. In the paper last week, there's a player at Cardinal Newman. I hope nobody gets offended that played here, but there's a player at Cardinal Newman now that'll be better, probably the best that's ever been at Cardinal Newman. He just signed with Clemson, which is one. Should have gone to Carolina, but whatever. And in the paper, Jeff was quoted as saying he's one of the best athletes that Cardinal Newman ever had, which is true. He's one of the best. But if I could take just a minute to tell you what an unusual group that I got the chance to play with at Cardinal Newman at that time. And most of you know, so I'm repeating it. But in this class of a little over 200 students, the school, we had Gorman Thomas, played professional baseball, signed a football scholarship, wide receiver to Florida State, turned that down to play baseball. Marty Woolbright, who played at University of South Carolina on the football team for 4 years, played on the basketball team as a freshman at the University of South Carolina. I'm going across the back. So George Collins, and when Marty left, I think he was the athlete of the year the next year. George was one of the best all-around athletes I think Cardinal Newman has ever had. Joe Roach, one of the best defensive players, and the next year was on a state championship team again. Danny Callahan, whose sister's Libby here, who, by the way, was in the Olympics 3 or 4 times representing the United States. But Danny, who's no longer with us, was captain of the quarterback on the football team as well as playing for the basketball team. Then there were the seniors. So Eddie Roach, that never passed up a shot that he had a chance, whether he had the ball or not. All right. Kenny Sexton, who is not here, had started, I believe, for 3 years for the varsity. Kenny Dial, who was one of the best football players and one of the toughest guys to tackle I'd ever seen, and I think he made maybe all-conference and all-state, as well as was on the basketball team. Bobby Collins, who also, like Bobby, played basketball and baseball at Erskine and had scholarships in both of them. And Pat Takak, who was an all-state football player as well as a player on our basketball team. So that group of athletes, I say Austin is very good, but these guys right here were some of the best at one time that Cardinal Newman ever had, and I was happy to play with them.